Hi, listeners. Lisa Starr bringing you episode 29 of season 8 of the StarCast podcast. I can't believe it. I hope you enjoy this live episode, and please stay tuned for a special announcement at the end. I have an exciting on-site episode of StarCast this week. We are at the Aufguss World Masters Trials in New York City. I'm going to be speaking to a few people. We are at the Bathhouse in Williamsburg, which is just reopened after its renovation. And I have to tell you, it's stupendous. And it is also packed. There are so many people here. I can't believe it. It's an exciting time in bath and sauna culture in the U.S. So this is an exciting event. My first guest today is someone that you have heard before on our show, Lasse Eriksson, who is here today as vice president of the Aufguss World Masters. But he is also the development director at Farspad in Norway, very famous. So Lasse, thank you for joining us again.
Thank you for having me again.
So you are one of 4 judges today. Let's talk a little bit about what this is. What is going on here today?
It's a gathering. It's to connect people who are interested in sauna Aufguss. And this is the very first U.S. championship in this performance art, because it is an art form inside the sauna. We will talk more about the show and how it goes, but it is 19 countries who are now having their nationals, who are finding their representatives from their country to be in the World Championships in Verona, Italy in September in a 300-seater sauna.
A 300-seater?
Yes. So it's going to be spectacular World Championships this year.
That's fantastic. So, Lasse, this is the first year the U.S. has had a trial for teams, right?
Oh, yeah. It's a massive event in the context that it takes years to make this happen. And I've been so lucky to be working with different countries. And in this one, we did together with Design for Leisure, because they are the host of the Aufguss VM in the US, so to find the right venues, to find the people who want to contribute and make it happen. And finally, we are here. This has taken some years.
I'll say. Aufguss, for those of you that don't know, has been a sauna ritual that we've enjoyed in Europe for decades, years. And it was just never something that we had in the US. There wasn't enough interest in saunas or bathhouse culture. The saunas aren't big enough, but we're finally seeing that change. So, Lasse, you're vice president of this organization. How did that evolve? You told me that there used to be 2 different organizations that sort of looked at saunameisters globally.
It's like in many other organizations. Sometimes they start off in different ends, and they find they have the same goal. It happens in other, types of entities as well. So it started with 2. And until 2015, there were 2 different world championships. One was Sauna VM and one was Aufguss VM type. But in 2015, we decided to merge these together because our community isn't that big. Even if sauna is very big, the sauna masters are not that many around the world. When you go back 10 years. And that's what happened. When we emerged together, we picked kind of the best of the best to collaborate. And that's when that's when we pushed. And if we hadn't done that, I don't know what would happen, but it was the best choice we ever done, because then all the sauna people came together under one roof and we could celebrate even more and actually have more countries. And we are very proud of where we are today.
I would think so. So 10 years then it's been that you've been one organization, and this year 19 countries are vying to send representatives to be in the final.
Yeah.
There are 4 judges here in New York City, of which you are one, and the others are also international judges. How many judges will be at the final competition, and how does it differ from what we are seeing today?
In the finals, you have 2 different categories. You have singles, which is one person doing the Aufguss, and then you have teams, which is 2 or 3. who are working together to create the Aufguss. So that's the two different categories. So in the World Championships, we have two different juries. So one jury doing the singles and one jury doing the teams. And then it's every 45 minutes. We have, 42 participants in each category. So it's kind of, that's a lot. Yeah.
So some countries are obviously sending more than one group of people.
Yeah. And we have what we call playoffs, which is a second chance, because it does happen once in a while that even if you were so good, you are kind of the best show, the best Aufguss, but you do mistakes. Things can fall down, things can this, and it doesn't go.
Like what we just saw happened here. We had a little issue with the lighting.
Yeah. And these participants where they have almost enough score to win, but because of some small mistakes, we decided to create playoffs, which is a second chance. So then we have an event a couple of weeks before where we do the second chance. And that's saying every year since we started that, they have been in the finals, top 8 in the world.
The people that came from the second chances?
Yes. And
that's amazing.
Even the first female world champion, Karolina, she came from the second chance. She became, I think, 5th in Poland. And then she went into the playoffs. She won the playoffs and she won the championship by a landslide. So I think that was a smart move because everyone deserves a second chance, especially if there's small mistakes you did. So there's 2 big events coming up, one in the end of August and then the Aufguss WM finals.
So today we are sitting through different sauna routines by the sauna meisters. And they come in and they do their story, and then you judges go and you sit in a room and you judge them. What is the criteria that you're looking at?
There are 5 categories in single and 6 in team. It starts with what we call professionality. That meaning hygiene, cleanliness, that it's safe in there, and that you have contact with the audience, and that you we value that people needs to feel safe. That's the number one issue in the sauna. The moment you can make everyone feel safe, they will surrender and enjoy the journey. If you don't do that, they will not connect with you in the journey. So we kind of see that one. Second is the heat. How do they increase the heat? It should go in slow layers, a little bit more, little bit more, little bit more, and in the end, a little kick. That you have that last little heat where you and then you go out. So you kind of want to go out, but you still stay for that last. So if they can do that in the right steps and how they distribute the heat around the oven, that's the second. It's very difficult, actually. And the third is the waving techniques.
Mm-hmm. With the towels.
With the towels they use, how difficult the styles is, how efficient is the techniques. Do you do it with your left and your right hand? Do you do a throw with this one? It's kind of a magic wand, It's like being in a circus where you see they throw things in the air, and do they really catch it? And do you catch it right? Or do you actually crumbling? So it's all these things we evaluate. And then it's smells. They work with essential oils or smokes or herbs.
And for listeners, they put those in the ice balls that go on the oven and smash them down, and then the heat releases the scent into the sauna.
Yeah, because the stones are 200-300 degrees Celsius, right? So they are very hot, while each essential oil has a different burning point. Like citrus has about 52, 53, 54 degrees, while others type of conifera, they are kind of more around 100 degrees. So if you pour that essential oil on the oven, you will burn them, and that's toxic. It's actually dangerous. So you have to know what you're doing. So that's why we put it on ice, because ice keeps them cold, and the warm air goes through the ice ball, captures the molecules, and lifts it to the air. So it smells nice.
It does.
And a good sauna master can do that correctly. And then it's the combination of smells. Do they combine really well? And do that smell connect with the story you're telling?
Mm.
If I'm going to bring you to Italy and I'm going to have some pizza, I need the right ingredients. I cannot come with ilang ilang. So you have to connect that with the story. So that's one category. And the last category is the show. It's the storyline. How is the atmosphere in the sauna? That's me as a judge. I observe the guests and the energy in the room. How do you connect with the people? Has the storyline, is it a nice fluent storyline, or is it kind of difficult to understand? And these are different categories that, and this I try to sit there and remember. All these subs. It's a lot. And when you see a judge in a sauna, our faces has a tendency to become a bit lost.
Mm-hmm.
So people look at us, we seem quite boring inside there because we are so in our own minds to count. Okay, you did the 3 times with your left hand, 2 times with the right, 4 times like this, 3 times like that. The smell is like this.
And it's not like you can have a paper and pad in there to take notes because you're totally sweaty. It's really interesting about the story, because if for listeners who have not been to this kind of Aufguss ritual, the Saunameister is telling a story, and there is music, and there may be spoken words, there may be visuals, there may be costumes and props that help to tell the story as well. And I think the story is great because as a participant, it distracts you from thinking, I'm about to melt here. But you're so interested in what's happening that you're able to stay in the sauna.
You don't want to miss out. You want to follow the line, and a good storyteller keeps you there. And that's kind of that category. How good storyteller are you? Are you able to capture the moment? Can you bring people into the journey? Because we as humans, we have a special gift, and that's imagination. So to connect with people's imagination and make them travel. And that is why I like the Aufguss, because there's so many stories out there, even the untold one. So many Aufguss master where we say is that we have a category called creativity. Is this a Disney story, which we have seen many times before? Or is it your story? Something we never heard about before. Have you created this universe yourself? Or is it, so there's many different, so I like that people dare to create new universe. So you can bring people to the moon if you want to, or a different universe with the right smells and the right scent. And the heat makes you connect like that, especially when you're undressed.
And there is similar criteria for the team event, I'm assuming, except then you've got the choreography of 2 people in the sauna.
Yeah, synchronization as well. We want them to wave simultaneously and doing this, and transitions of towels that they throw to each other and handing over equipment and connecting in that way. And that's difficult, but very fun to watch when it works.
So these people how many people will be sent from the U.S. to represent the country at the championship?
One.
One individual and one team?
One team and one individual. And number 2 goes to playoff. And the playoffs will be in Germany, and the finals will be in Verona in Italy.
Uh-huh. And what happens if you win? Let's say you win and you're the Saunameister of the world. Then what?
Well, first of all, there's a prize there as well. There's always some prize money and things. But becoming a world champion in Sauna Aufguss makes you being invited all over the world to all the spas. Most of them already have their own schools. So they become very often trainers because people want to know, hey, all your skills, would you like to share this with us? So all the world champions we have until today, they all have their own companies. They do education. They teach their skills because the sauna vibe and Aufguss vibe, we have just started. And if you see around the world at the moment, also especially here in the US, the train has left now, and we are not up on tempo yet. So there's opening new sauna spots, I'm sure, weekly, and there are coming new big spas, and there are coming new big saunas, and the Aufguss will just be bigger and bigger and bigger. So to be the first one in the US, it will always follow you. No one can take away that you are the first US champion in Sauna Aufguss. And that is why I'm so proud of all of those who participate this year, because it's quite frightening to stand in front of 100 people inside a sauna and sharing your story. So to dare to do that, that's a tough moment. But when you first do it, second time is not that bad. And third time is even easier.
How many times have you participated?
I have never participated because I am on the dark side. I'm on the jury side. I host and arrange events, and some of us has to do that role. And that became my thing to make this universe happen for the sauna masters, and then they can enjoy and have fun, and I can take care of the press and CEOs and management and all these things around it.
So much behind the scenes going on.
There's a lot behind the scenes, yeah.
I'm just watching today. The coordination of all of this is really something. I know there's members of your team at Farspad have competed.
Yeah, I have 3 world champions in my team.
Amazing.
So it's a massive team, and that's also a pride. The one who wins, in the US as well, that spa will be very proud of you. You will have that one, and also you will travel around. And for any spa operator, if you start with Aufguss, if you start to work, you support your team, and they evolve as humans because they've learned to have connection with people. If you send them to the championships, they feel supported. They can explore space and the world. They get to learn by the best in the world. Then they come home to your sauna again or your spa, and the quality of what you deliver is so much better. And then you become unique and not just one spa in the midst of all the other ones. So I want to challenge everyone to dare to take the steps, those who have a sauna, to try to start with Aufguss, learn, bring in some teachers from around, and just jump into it. But it all starts in management. It has to come from the top.
They have to want it. They have to fund it to some degree,
yeah.
or make a space for people to learn.
Oh yeah.
Where do you learn? If you want to learn how to do sauna Aufguss, where do you learn? You watch YouTube videos like everything else?
First, I would recommend to come and either join one of the national championships around the world or come to Aufguss VM, the finals. Then you will see, there you have all the participants, all the schools, all the teachers, all the people you need to know or should meet. That's where the network is. So if you are either want to be sauna master or management, that's the place to be.
Is there a website you can go to see the schedules?
Yeah, Aufguss WM.
Aufguss WM, AUFGUSSWM.com.
It's a German company, so I'm going to like a German set. So actually, it started with Weltmeisterschaft.
Oh, okay. I'm not going to spell that.
And we just kept it because we call it World Masters, so we can use it both. So, and Google it around there. But that's where you will meet all the different teachers, because there's so many amazing Aufguss masters out there. But you need to find the one with your energy. What fits your spa? What kind of Aufguss master do you want to have to teach your people? And it's not easy to find them, but in Aufguss VM you will. Or you have to call me.
Okay. Call Lasse. Get in line to call Lasse. Well, I was lucky to grab you today. Thank you, as always, for the gift of your time and your great vision on what sauna Aufguss can be.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for the event.
Okay, so our next guest is, I think, a name we're all going to know soon, because he and his company are going to be behind what propels Aufguss in the U.S. We have Travis Talmadge here, co-founder of Bathhouse Brooklyn and Flatiron and the world, is what I hear. So, Travis, thank you for joining us. It's a busy day here. It's crazy here.
It's a busy day.
Let's do a little of a 1-minute synopsis of the history of Bathhouse. When did this Williamsburg location open?
Sure. Well, thanks for having me. By the way, it's exciting. We opened the first original Williamsburg Bathhouse in November of 2019, shortly before a pandemic, which was crazy timing. But yeah, it's been almost 6 years.
It's hard to believe it's gone that fast.
Yes.
And you have just completed a renovation here, or expansion?
We did. So we opened the first one, which was about 10,000 square feet, in November of 2019. It was really well received. We were busy right away, and we kind of instantly realized that we built it too small. So since then, we built a 37,000 square foot facility in Manhattan, which is our Flatiron location. And then we tripled the size of this one. So Williamsburg is now 32,000 square feet, inclusive of the roof that has a 120 foot long pool. And then we have a bunch more that we're in development on.
Well, I have to say how impressed I have been. I have been to Bathhouse Flatiron. I had never been to this one. But I've done Aufguss in Europe for years. I mean, I love doing that there. And I've always wondered, why don't we have that in the US? And so when I came today and I saw the people here, I think my chin hit the floor. I mean, how many people would be in this building at one time?
So we see about 1,000 people a day at each location. So somewhere between 200 and 250 bodies inside at once. That's pretty consistent. So, enough where I would say our normal Aufguss usually has around 50, 60 guests in it. And we do 7 of those a day at each location.
Tremendous. I mean, like I said earlier, Travis and his company are going to be promoting Aufguss, which brings us to why we're here today.
Yep.
The Aufguss World Masters. The U.S. has never sent a team. It's amazing that you're hosting this. How did you get involved in that movement?
Well, with Aufguss, it started, my partner, Jason, and I, we opened Bathhouse. We kind of figured it out like any business. You kind of learn the business that you built as it's going along. And, we were really intent on making a better version and kind of tailored version of a bathhouse to American culture that has existed for thousands of years in other parts of the world. And I think we did a pretty good job at that. But when we opened, we saw an Aufguss, and it was kind of like the light bulb where it was like, oh, this is the piece of programming that kind of ties the whole thing together. So instantly we were like, okay, Aufguss program. Oh my God, there's a world championships in this. That's so cool. Eventually we're going to compete. And we kind of set off on this path. And so the way that my partner and I work, I kind of work on the business. He kind of works in the business, to mean that he is an amazing guy and he handles all the operations, whereas I'm doing a lot of the other stuff, real estate and capital markets and all that. We collaborate on that stuff. But so naturally, I am a little bit more disconnected from our customer and our staff. And so when we talked about doing the Aufguss program, I was like, cool, I'm going to do this. This is really exciting to me. It's kind of this weird thing that wasn't on my bingo card. And so I got trained with our staff, and it's been this really great way where I get to interact with our customers and all our team. And so it's kind of my little connection to my own business, which I really cherish. Anything you do, you want to do well. And so we wanted to develop this program, and it took a few years. And the intent was to keep raising the bar and the quality. We use Aufguss generally as an onboarding experience for our guests. So in America, we don't have the deep roots of sauna culture that they have in the countries you visited. So a lot of people know how long to stay in a sauna. A lot of times, first-timers will come here and they get into a sauna for 4 or 5 minutes and they go, ooh, I'm warm, I'm leaving. And so we want them to know, well, you want to stay in 15 minutes in this temperature to get the maximum benefits and the heat shock proteins and all the things that you can read about that they've done studies on for longevity and quality of life. So we actually use the Aufguss program on a day-to-day basis, really as an onboarding technique for our customers, and then as a beautiful thing that our repeat customers come to like, and they've seen this person do an Aufguss and that person. So it kind of went from there. And then we knew that there was a competitive side of Aufguss, which is very different from our normal Aufguss, which is really more quote unquote classic and kind of, fits our vibe, but is kind of a more casual experience.
A little more chill.
Yeah, a little bit more chill. And so we were excited about that, and then had been talking with the powers that be at the WM, and there's never a good time to do something new. So we felt like this was the year, and it's pretty cool seeing the quality of all the sauna masters. I mean, totally exceeded my expectations.
That's awesome. Well, it's really nice that you stepped up and said, yes, we'll take it on, because, it is a challenge. America's a big country. It's so far flung.
Yeah.
And it's taking a while, I think, for the Aufguss idea to catch on, or sauna at all. The event sauna concept is still relatively new here.
Yeah, it really didn't feel heroic. I mean, we're so excited about it, and Aufguss is such a big part of our kind of day-to-day programming that it was just like, it was led with excitement,
So are members of your team also competing?
Yes, we have 5 members from Bathhouse, including myself, that are competing, along with everybody else that have come from Las Vegas and South Carolina and Europe. There's some American sauna masters that are working in Europe that have come back to participate in this national. So yeah.
Very exciting. Well, thank you again for hosting it, Travis.
Yeah. Thank you for being here.
So back at Williamsburg Bathhouse, and I have 2 of the contestants for tomorrow at team. I wish you could see them. They are the most beautiful girls. One has blue braids and one has read. And they told me this is part of their piece. So I've asked them to tell us a little bit about what they're doing here in their story. So welcome to StarCast. And could you introduce yourselves?
Yes. I'm Lumina.
And I'm Nixia.
Lumina and Nixia.
Right.
And you're visiting from Las Vegas.
Yes.
Where I learned you work at the Fontainebleau at Lapis Spa, run by Jennifer Lynn, who's been on the podcast before, and she's a huge sauna proponent. So tell us about how you got into being a sauna meister.
Yeah. Actually, Jennifer Lynn, it kind of fell into our laps. It came out of nowhere. She reached out and asked if we would want to dance in a sauna at 190 degrees or so. And we were like, yeah, let's give it a go. And from then on, she brought us all the necessary tools and people to help us flourish into this Aufguss meister that we are today. So she brought us Rob Kaiser from the Netherlands, Lhasa at one point. Rob Kaiser's been our most consistent trainer that comes back twice a year for us. And we also go to him twice a year. But yeah, we never thought that this would be part of our life. And now it will never leave our life.
How did Jennifer know you?
I believe Instagram.
Yeah. We have a wellness account on Instagram, and she found our page. And within our page, she saw that we have NASM trainings as well as messengers and nutritionists. We did a lot of things during the pandemic with different classes for donation-based to keep our coworkers and friends in tip-top shape with not only their mindsets, but also feeling good within their bodies. Yeah. And it made sure that we'd be ready to pop back on stage at any moment.
And that we're professional dancers as well.
Mm-hmm.
So we've done that all of our lives.
So that's why you live in Vegas.
Yeah. We're actually from upstate New York originally.
Yeah, we're Rochester, New Yorkers.
Yeah. We moved there 12 years ago.
And so what sort of work do you do as dancers?
Yeah, I've worked for Cirque du Soleil. We have also done
Marie Osmond,
many artists, J-Lo,
J Balvin,
CeeLo Green,
Lady Gaga.
Lots of different artist work.
Yeah.
We also do TV and film. We were on Marvelous Mrs. Maisel on Amazon.
In 2021, we did season 4 and season 5.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. And now you're in saunas.
Yeah, now we're in saunas.
Yeah.
So did the idea sound weird to you when you first heard about it?
I was nervous. I'm not a big hot fan, a heat fan. I never really did much hot yoga. I was like, but let's try it out. And anything with more practice and calming your mind and your body, you really can do anything.
So connection to the breath.
Yeah, and the connection to your breath, and then realizing what a gift it is to help heal other people and also recovering our own body. And yeah, I never thought for me this was an option. And then the first day I gave it a go and I was like, okay, maybe I went a little too hard. But then after a while, I realized, no, this is just how you start training for it. You know, at first it feels a little intimidating. It's hot.
How could it be intimidating to someone that's been in Cirque du Soleil, on stage in Vegas?
Yeah.
It's the 190 degrees. 165 to 190 is kind of where the sauna rests at and where you can push it to within your session.
And you're in charge of that area, right?
It's a much more personal experience that you're having with your customers or your clients within it's really sauna based and it's very special. So that's even really nice, but it's definitely unlocked a new passion for us that now we've been doing it
since 2021,
4 years.
Yeah. So how often in the week are you doing sauna?
4 to 5
times a week.
And then fitting it in with all your other
and then rehearsals and all the other things.
So about 4 sessions in the morning and 4 sessions in the evening. If our schedule permits, we can sometimes do a full day. But most of the time we're doing mornings. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So what happens now? You're among the first ever people vying to represent the U.S. at the World Championships. You'll go tomorrow on the team's day. And Lhasa also told me that there is a playoff. If you don't score as well as you want to here, there's still a playoff opportunity. But how awesome it would be to represent the U.S. for the first time.
It would be incredible
on the global stage.
Yeah.
Do you ever sit in the sauna yourselves?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You do?
Yeah. Because most of the time we actually perform Aufgusses separately.
Yeah.
Solo Aufgusses. So this is our first time actually getting to present as a team. We play around sometimes once in a while when we go to each other's sessions and we'll get up. But this is our first time creating a story and a piece where we get to work together. In dance, we've worked a lot together since 3 and 4 years old. So that's something that we've done together cohesively.
Yeah.
However, this was a new experience to be able to build this story and go on this journey.
And we do like the sauna too. Like, so if I have a day free and I really need to unwind, I will go to her session and sit there and sweat. And I'm like, wow, you're beautiful.
And do you cold plunge afterwards?
Shower and cold plunge always.
How many times do you like to do that?
It's depending on each person's body. So depending on how you feel that day, usually we're doing at least 4.
Yeah.
So we'll do an Aufguss, we shower, we cold plunge. You have about maybe 15 to 20 minutes to reset, start over. But if you're a guest, we always recommend you make sure you replenish yourself with electrolytes and snacks and salts and things like that. And as long as your body's feeling good, you can continue to do that for as long as you would like.
Yeah, 4 times might be for professionals. Right?
Yeah. Well, we have some people they're like, oh my God, I'm doing the whole day, and you're like, okay. And then you just kind of keep an eye on them and you kind of check in with them. You notice their body language. You get them a magic banana.
A life-saving banana, as I call it.
Yeah, we kind of check in with them. Like, we love that you love this, but please be careful,
Do you think being sisters has helped you to come together with the story for this competition?
Yeah. And it's kind of a story that is natural to most sisters.
Yeah.
Our storyline talks about the relationship of sisterhood, but it also mirrors the relationship that all of us have together as humanity. Our ending statement is about how with unity, compassion, and love, you're all more.
Well, I'm excited for your competition. I won't be here to see it tomorrow, but I'm sure I'm going to hear all about it. Yeah. And welcome to the wellness world.
Thank you. It's a pleasure. It's an honor.
So now I'm here with Don Genders. Everyone knows Don Genders, principal of Design for Leisure. And he's really the reason that I think we're here in New York today. Don, you obviously in your work, you build saunas all over the world and bathhouses. You're an expert. You've been on StarCast before. You've built some of the most iconic places in the world. But you have a particular interest in Aufguss and sauna here in America. So maybe you could talk to us a bit about how you have helped make this happen here. Because, America has been very slow to embrace sauna culture over the last 15 years. And suddenly it's just taken off.
Well, yes, it has, Lisa, but believe it or not, we first built a sauna capable of holding Aufguss performances in 2007, 2008, both for the same client, Canyon Ranch, which is their Canyon Ranch Living in Miami Beach, and Canyon Ranch Spa Club in the Venetian and Palazzo in Las Vegas. Being victims of their own success, they were so busy that they decided that they didn't need to have Aufguss and use these saunas for the purposes which they'd been designed and the size and the scale that they had, because they were filling themselves and they didn't need to do anything.
Why do we need to do that?
Exactly.
So that was 2007 and 8.
That was 2007 and 8. One of the reasons why I convinced Canyon Ranch to go to these bigger saunas in the first place was that America is one of the most extroverted nations that I've ever had experience of living and working in. And to me, it was just a perfect marriage, an idea of getting Aufguss into the United States. Well, it's been a very slow burn. And one is a case of convincing people of the size and scale of sauna they need to build to be able to hold these events. And again, the level of investment. Unfortunately, using the sort of, the Field of Dreams quote, build it and they will come, was falling on deaf ears. And then I think we got a bit of a perfect storm going on now with COVID gave birth to people investigating wellness, and then they were investigating, what was the big thing that you needed to build up your immunity to stay safe from COVID, and of course. One of the greatest things that self building of your immunity or strengthening your immunity is contrast therapy of heat and cold. And therefore, we were getting a massive interest in sauna in general, within the United States, because of course there was no sauna culture here. So of course people were thirsty for knowledge, and so.
And it's social.
It's social. Of course, it's
healthy
social.
and it's social. Wow.
But what we had was an opportunity to say, hey, look, we've got, let's give it another go. Now is the time. Let's try and launch Aufguss again, and let's try and see if we can get. We had a new group of people coming into our sphere. The people who had begun to learn and find out about contrast therapy through investigations during COVID, they're not spa people. They've had no involvement in spa. They've not been part of our world, as we have been for 20, 30 years. They came from different worlds. And all of a sudden they were open to ideas, and they wanted ideas. What can they do to bring business into their new businesses? And these entrepreneurs are often, building these places with, from the bank to mom and pop, they're borrowing the cash, and they've got to do everything they can to make it success. And of course, Aufguss is entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
And
for sure.
So it's a pull, and it's something that you can do on your own, or you can do with one friend or one partner, but you can do it in a whole group of you. And it's an invigorating and exciting way to go out and have a good time.
Well, there's certainly plenty of people here at Bathhouse Williamsburg today, enjoying it. I came for the competition. I didn't realize that we would have just normal citizens sitting in on the competition saunas, and everyone has been filled with 60 people or more, and there's a line outside. And it's very exciting to see that, because we, as you say, it was such a hard sell in America, but the light bulb has clicked somehow.
Well, no, I've always said that try it once and you're sold. And I've tried to encourage investors in the past to come to Europe and all the rest. And one of the problems is always a bit of a barrier to it, is because, of course, all these places in Europe are full of nudity. And so a lot of people don't want to go and they go and try it for the simple reason that they're not comfortable with the nudity side of it. So it's even been a bit of a barrier to getting investors to investigate because they feel uncomfortable with the environment in which Aufguss is so often practiced in Europe. But it's moving now. We've got people here, and the fact is that this is Aufguss is lots of different things to lots of different people, but ultimately it's a performance art. And you've got light, you've got sound, you've got music, you've got physical capabilities, you've got coordination, and you've got entertainment, but at the heart of it is storytelling. And what we're really doing is we're sitting round the campfire, telling stories. This is a natural gathering for people. It's a natural thing that's almost in our DNA that we'd all forgotten about. That is coming back. And I think that's a big driving force why people love all this being together and watching as this little 15-minute story unfolds before you. And that is
It's not a sequel, and it's never been done before.
Yep. And everything's different. And that's the wonderful thing about it, is that every sauna master is constantly evolving in themselves, because they know they can't keep doing the same old performance. It's the same. It's the same as the musicians and the bands with the one-hit wonders. They come and they go. Well, if you're going to be a one-hit wonder with your single performance, you won't be attracting people for longer. So they themselves are evolving. But it's also so wonderfully democratic, because anybody can do it. You don't have to be a gymnast. You don't have to be a dancer. You don't have to be an actor.
You don't need a degree from university.
Degree to university. You don't end up with all that huge university debt and everything else. But it also means that, and I know and have come across so many Aufguss performers who started life as a spa attendant, picking up towels and bathrobes and slippers off the floor after people had just dumped them and walked out. And they've watched and they've seen and they've learned and they practice in front of the mirror, and they've gone to their boss and said, hey, can I have a go, And because you don't need a piece of paper to say, well, I've got a degree in this or I've got to pass an exam in that and all the rest of it. There is no barrier to entry. It's just purely the skills and the ability to entertain. And once you've got over that little, performing in front of a crowd of people, then the world's your oyster.
So what else can we do to promote Aufguss in the U.S.? What would help more people to understand what it is?
Well, we need the investors to bite the bullet and build the saunas. As the one, if you like, the one barrier to entry is having a sauna that's big enough for people to move around and perform. I mean, if you haven't got space, you just can't.
So what's the smallest size you want for an Aufguss? How many seats?
Well, I think it's again, and unfortunately, it comes down to sort of the ROI as well, because these performances are often not free. It's part if it's part of your ticket price, and you may pay a premium, or as we're here, we've got coloured armbands which give you access. So if you want to book an Aufguss when you arrive for your session in the Bathhouse, then you get a certain colour bracelet, and that gives you one or multiple or whatever. So it's easily managed, and from that point of view, there's a return on the investment. Now, there's always a critical point. In actual fact, a sauna for 20 people will have a longer payback period than a sauna for 40 people, because of the economies of scale. To build a sauna for 40 people isn't double the price of building a sauna for 20 people. So you've got the economy of scale there. Plus the fact that, of course, 40 people are going to be giving you more money than 20 people. So there is an investment. There is a business plan, and there is investment, and there are our payback periods. But the payback periods are very short.
Like how short?
I've heard of stories, not in the USA, but in Europe, them paying back 6 to 9 months.
Well, that's pretty effective.
I mean, if you're going to go to your bank and say, I'm on a loan, and there's normally, what do you want it, 5-10 years? Yeah, no, just a year. I mean, it's, so it is, and that's one of the big things that people coming into this space are surprised at, that often new entrepreneurs coming into this space are finding that everyone thinks people are always optimistic when they start a business, and they're actually finding they're actually paying back faster than they ever in their wildest dreams, because people love relaxing. People enjoy doing it, and again, it's the passive side of wellness. Okay, there's a lot of people who think that the only form of wellness is banging it out in a gym or whatever it may be. But there's the mental side of wellness, and the physical and the relaxation side of wellness, and the activities that help you sleep better, and that all falls into this passive wellness field that we are experiencing here today. And in cities in particular, where you read all the mental health issues and everything else people suffered, and the stress of living in cities, working in cities, and this gives people an antidote to the city. Is a little oasis of calm. Well, maybe not quite calm in the middle of an event sauna, but I mean, the visit to a bathhouse, and again, it can be as much as what you want. You can go to the Aufguss, or you can just go and chill out and relax.
Well, a facility like this one lends itself perfectly to the scene you're describing. I met a young woman here who heard us talking actually earlier. And she asked me, is this your job? And I said, yes, I am lucky to have this as a job. I asked her what brought her here. She said, well, it's my birthday. And I said, are you here alone? She said, well, I have girlfriends, but on our birthday, we go alone to a spa and we spend the day, and then we meet up for dinner. And she's been here all day. I saw her in the cafe eating lunch, reading a book in her bathing suit. And I thought, that's so great that these younger people are learning to take that time for themselves, and that Aufguss can play a role in that.
Oh, I think it's fantastic, because once you go into that sauna, you're on your own, because it's going to mean something different to every single one of those 60, 70, 80 people sitting in that sauna. It'll mean something different to them, and they'll all get something different out of it. And that's why it is so individually important. I mean, I've seen people emotionally, fall apart through the beauty of a performance. It's hit a particular note with them, what have you, and they've cried afterwards, but they've cried in a nice way because it's given them a release they feel they needed. It's not because it's reminding them of their dead granny or whatever, but this is because it's touched something for them that's warmed them so much. I mean. And it was a bit like the performance today by Brittany, the Pocahontas story, which I thought was a fantastic story to open, the American National Championships with, on the base, a Native American history story, and I thought it fitted beautifully, very very well chosen, the theme and route to go down with it, and I think that's but again it's pausing, and the little message that came across from it. So it's not particularly profound, but it's that little message of how as you told the story and how once upon a time the planet chose which would survive and all the rest of it, and now we are choosing how we help the planet survive, and so an important message in this day and age.
Finding deeper meaning, right? Finding deeper meaning in everyday events is something I think everyone is striving for. And why not find it on your own in a sauna? We're getting some inspiration.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Don Genders, for all you have done, not just for the industry, but bringing Aufguss to the masses. I hope it continues.
Thank you, Lisa. We hope so too.
Hi, Lisa here again. I hope you enjoyed this live episode. I'm happy to report that the solo winner, Alonso Solorzano, and the team winners were Jolie and Alexi Irvine, the ladies who you heard me interview just earlier. So they will be representing the U.S. at the World Championships in September, as will some of the potential runners-up from this particular competition. So I also wanted to add that we'll be signing off for the summer. We will not be publishing new episodes in July or August. I hope you will use that time to catch up on many of the episodes you may have missed. We have almost 125 in our history now. So please go onto your platform, look back, see what you might have missed, and I hope to see you in early September with new episodes. Thanks and enjoy the summer.